I am Natalia at Mom's Dish. Today we are making a salad with chili cheese chips. It's a mouthful, especially for Ukrainian like me, but you're gonna love this recipe. And if you can make a salad with chips, I mean, we're winning. Let's make it. We are starting with a can of corn. I am using sweet corn whole kettle. That's what it says on here. I'm just gonna drain it up, and then this is about 16 ounces, I think that's what it says. But you just wanna get rid of all the liquid, so I'm gonna let this drain. While it's draining, we're gonna chop up all the vegetables. Look at this collapsible draining thing. It just collapses, doesn't take a lot of space. If I can find the link, I'll put it down below. We have 2 stunning red bell peppers. I am using red. You can use green, you can use yellow, orange, whatever color they come in. I love using the red because I feel like they're the sweetest. And I think I just cut this the wrong way because I am talking as I'm chopping. The 2 peppers come down to about 1 pound in weight, so you know. And I'm gonna slice them into tiny little cubes. They're great for bite size. That way they match the size of the corn. I want all the flavors to be all even and equal in size, so I'm just gonna slice them up and then chop them into little squares. Once they're sliced in long strips, I can't speak today, we're gonna cut them into little cubes, just like this. Just small, even pieces. You want the flavors to be balanced, similar to corn, like I said earlier, but that's it. Very simple. If you're ever cutting bell peppers for stir fries, this is totally not related to this recipe, but you can cut off both ends and then you get this like flat surface and then you get like perfect strips. So I made it all flat and then I just like cut it up like this. And these are like the perfect strips. They're all the same size. And when cooking, you always want everything to be the same size because the flavors are gonna be like balanced. For this salad, I love using a shallow, large bowl because you can see all the colors. It's actually one of my favorite bowls to use for all of my recipes. So basically, you can just dump it in order, but I am adding bell peppers on one side and then I'll add other veggies on the other side. So we have bell peppers in a bowl. We're gonna add corn to here. So my corn is all drained, I think. A little more tossing. Okay, I'm gonna add corn on the other side. Dump that in. This recipe also requires half a purple onion. Mine is about, I would say on the large side, but really it's your preference how much of what you add as far as flavors go. And to cut up an onion, here's a great way to do it. I cut it in half and then I remove the outside layer. And one of the things that you want to hold the onion intact, like you want to keep the root on. So I'm gonna cut off this edge and then we're gonna create like long strips along the lines of the onion. I think this knife needs to be sharpened. Let me switch the knife. Okay. I think this knife is sharper. Nope. Maybe it is. Okay, we're cutting it like this and then we're just gonna slice it into tiny little pieces. You want the onions not to be the same size as corn and bell peppers. You want it to be smaller so the flavors are just like perfectly distributed into every bite. At the end, you just have this root that's been holding your onion together. Our onion is all chopped up. We're gonna add that to the bowl and just place it here. If you decide that you wanna make this salad way in advance, so let's say you're hosting and you decide to make this salad, I would keep the vegetables like this, wrap it up, set it aside. For the next ingredients, you can still prepare them, but let me leave the salad here. You can prepare them, but at the same time, you don't want to combine it because it's going to become mushy. So now we're going to do cheddar cheese. We're going to grate it on the large side of the grater. And I am going to dump it into the salad because we're going to enjoy it right now. But if I was creating this salad for hosting, I typically would keep the cheese separately. You don't want it to get mushy. Just grating this in, or grating it all together. I don't even understand what I'm doing. Just grating it, that's all I'm doing. I don't think I mentioned how much cheese we need. I am using about 1 pound of cheddar cheese. You can buy pre-grated. I just feel like the flavor is always better whenever you can grate it yourself. So I had this giant block from Costco that I've been using for recipes. So just cut off a piece. Also, if you need measurements, we always list them down below because sometimes when I talk, I forget to mention the measurements. So if you're looking for those, just always look in the description. Okay, all this cheese goes on top to the other mixture. It's a lot of cheese, but it gives you such a good flavor. It's a must in this recipe. And this little thing, whatever this is, scraper, I think, dough scraper, I use it for a lot of our recipes, especially when you're chopping a lot of things. It's so useful, like to clean up the surface. Can you get that mayo out there? Hey.
Pretend I'm taller now.
Okay. So we need some mayo for this recipe. I'm gonna set this aside for now. We're gonna add the chips and we're almost done. For the chips, we need to crush them up. So also wanna make them a little bit smaller. They do come in like pretty small size, but you don't want it to be this chunky in a salad. If you prefer that, be my guest. But here's what I do. Open it up because it does have air and you just either hold it or clip it and just smash them like this in a bag. Get your anger out. And I am using about 9 ounces of chips. I probably ate a few, so. Okay, we're just dumping this in. This is what adds all the flavor. The chili flavor on the chips like gets into salad. It is just so good. Hold on. And the crunch. Tim says the crunch also adds flavor. Not only the chili flavor, the crunch. Like it's a combination of creamy cheese, crunchy chips, fresh bell peppers, everything. It's just epic. For the dressing with this salad, we need mayo. I always say I'm not a fan of mayo, but in this recipe, it works really well. Now I'm thinking maybe I actually don't mind mayo if it's in the right situation. So we are gonna just dump that in. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna mix everything together and then add mayo. It's just gonna be easier to combine it all. I tried this salad at my friend's house years ago. So we have had this recipe on momsdish.com for years. And people are very creative with like their variations. You can add cilantro, more seasoning, more vegetables. You can actually make a few versions of bell peppers. Like, so if you don't want to use all red, you can add colorful ones. It's really up to you, but I love the pop of color, purple onion, red bell peppers, and the orange and the crunch and the creaminess. So good. So we're adding that mayo in. Like I said, it's half a cup. And we're just gonna toss everything together. And that's it. It's ready. So if you are hosting, like I mentioned before, add mayo, chips, and cheese at the end. Right before serving. You want the chips to still stay crunchy when you're serving it. You don't want cheese to be all like gooey. But I'm not a fan of mushy salads. So I always try to preserve all the flavors as much as possible. On the other hand, Tim, my husband, loves mushy salads. He'll let them sit for a while, he doesn't mind it. So if you have those people in your family, just mix it up earlier. That works too. Or Tim usually just eats leftovers the next day too. And this is a wrap for this recipe. It is crunchy, creamy, flavorful. It's everything. It's perfect for your barbecues. I rarely ask for a recipe when I'm at a friend's house and they have something very good. I'm just shy away, but this recipe was worth it.
So my favorite part about this salad, is this a salad?
Is this a salad? I guess it's the main question. Yeah.
Well, because it has this crunchy thing. But my favorite part about it is the crunch. And I know you said I like the squishy things, but I also love the crunchy. Mushy. And the fact you can actually hear the crunch.
Okay. I think we're going to be back again next week with more easy peasy recipes like this.
More tasty food.